Okay, now, of course, continuing from where we were before with the balancing of the dominoes, if we add these numbers up, we're going to get 80, and if we divide by 8, we get 10. So, total is 80, and 80 divided by 8 is 10, which is the mean. And I expect that everybody pretty much understands that. At least in class, nobody had any problem at all getting that result. Now we can represent the result as on the picture here. Okay, we have 10 in the middle, and we have 5 over here and 15 here. We can make a histogram, which is very much like a bar graph. There's a slight distinction between a histogram and a bar graph. In any case, the histogram, we're going to put a bar here for 5, and we're going to center that bar at 5, so the bar is actually going to run from 4.5 to 5.5. Of course, here's 5, here's 6, here's halfway. So the bar is going to be 1 unit wide, centered at 5. And then we're going to have a bar centered at 7, and another bar centered at 9, but that one's twice as high because we have 2 9s. And then we're going to have a 10 and a 12 and a 13 and a 15. Now that's a picture very much like what you see on the meter stick, except our bars are not 1 unit wide. Okay, the bars are not this wide. So the dominoes kind of represent bars, but they're not thick enough. Another way, in a way that's closer to the way the dominoes look, is this, where we just put a very thin bar, which is actually just a line for each of the bars that we have up here. And I appear to be missing one. Maybe that is supposed to represent a bar, but if it is, it should be a little higher. Okay, not sure I really had a bar for 10 there. But here's 10, here's 5, here's 15, and I'm sure everybody understands what I'm talking about here. This would actually be a bar graph. This would be a histogram. In histogram, the bars are a unit thick. Okay. Now, next question is, what's the number in the middle? And we call that number the median. And what's the number in the middle for this distribution? This is a different distribution. So we can kind of look at the distribution and say, well, it kind of looks like 9 is probably in the middle. And then we can see that 13 and 12 and 15 and 10 are all bigger than the number in the middle, the proposed number in the middle. But there are only 3 numbers that are smaller, 5, 7, and 8. So is 9 really in the middle? Well, if we, instead of use bigger or smaller, we use greater than or equal or less than or equal. This is greater than or equal. This is greater than or equal. Greater than or equal. Greater than or equal. This is less than or equal. This is less than or equal. We'll take this as the 9 that we put in the middle, so that's equal to. This is less than or equal. This is less than or equal. So we have 4 that are greater than or equal, 4 that are less than or equal, which will put that 9 in the middle. It becomes clearer if we do as we would usually do, arrange the numbers in order from the lowest to the highest. Then here they are in order. And we see that we have 4 on this side of this 9 and 4 on this side of this 9. Now it doesn't matter which of the 2 9s we think came from the original listing. The order of the listing doesn't really matter. We know that we've got 2 9s here, and the second 9 turns out to be the one in the middle. It doesn't matter whether it's the first or the second. If it's in the middle, then that is the middle. So this is the median. It's the number that's in the middle. I'm going to mess up my dominoes. I'm taking a chance by leaving these here. There's a good chance that I'm going to knock them over before I'm done with what I'm doing here. So anyhow, here's our median. It could happen that you end up with two numbers in the middle, as happens with this distribution. And on this distribution, which is our original distribution, we end up with three numbers on one side, three numbers on the other, two numbers in the middle, and they're different. What do? Well, we just take the average of those two numbers. So you're either going to end up with one number in the middle or two numbers in the middle. And if you end up with two numbers in the middle, you just take their average. So we'd say the median here is 9.5.